this is Monica Gill, and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama. I think, yes, Amitabh Bachchan is definitely one of the icons of Hindi cinema. And I definitely admire him in his body of work. I really want to say Priyanka Chopra. She's not, part of the older generation, but simply the kind of recognition she's given to Indian cinema and Indian women as a whole is huge. I used to say this in my pageant days a lot, that before Lara Dutta and Priyanka Chopra came into the market, the beauty of an Indian woman wasn't appreciated as much, because we have much more of an olive tone skin, brown eyes, our facial features are different. So in pageantry, especially American pageantry, it wasn't appreciated. They went for, blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin. When these girls, Lara Dutta and Priyanka Chopra, came into the market, is when girls like me, who were trying to get into modeling abroad, we were appreciated. Because there was a certain reference to our look. Somebody, or whether it was the Miss World organization or the Miss Universe organization, gave it a stamp of approval. Hey, this is beautiful as well. So that that attribute, or that addition of hers to the lives of all our NRI women abroad, like you can't oversee that or foresee that, or I don't even know what vocab word I'm looking for right now. Yes, I have a huge bucket list. I think when you come into cinema, you want to work with all your A-listers and all that. Yeah, and yes, that's there. I want to do that. But now that I've worked in a certain amount of films, I've understood that as an artist, you are not satisfied unless your creativity is used. So yes, I would love to work with all the A-list stars and, celebrities and be in these big films. Like, that's a dream. But I also want my talents as an actress to be used up. For me, as an artist, that's more satisfying. My dream character, okay, so I was just talking about this last night. I'm a huge fan of Draupadi.
Wow, okay.
So part of my upbringing was obviously not through school, but through my family and stuff. We were well versed. I'm from the Sikh faith, and a lot of Indian history as well. So it was by obligation learning the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and stuff. And I'm a huge fan of Chitra Banerjee and the Palace of Illusions. And I personally feel that Draupadi really represents the strength of an Indian woman. How at a time when an Indian woman didn't have a voice, she was able to stand up for herself. And I think that's admirable. That's a character I would so love to play. The softness of a wife, how she played the role of a daughter and a daughter-in-law, and then being a wife to 5 husbands and being able to fulfill that, and still being one of the most epic characters in Indian history. Gotta give it up to her. So the reason why I say Punjabi cinema is growing, because I've noticed a change in the kind of roles I'm being offered. Okay. Whereas my first 3 films I did, maybe not as much as Sardarji, because I had more of a meteor character there, but the first 2 roles I did, I had a very minuscule part to play in the film as a whole. I was a heroine of the film, but still the heroes were Diljit and Gippy, and it was their film. Whereas now, presently the film that I have up for release in Punjab, I have a proper protagonist to play that has a meaty role, that is part of the story, that is moving the story forward. And yes, the story would not be complete without this character. Or the movie that in Punjab that I'm doing next year, or that's going to be released next year, it's a full-fledged female-centric film. So that you never saw this in Punjab, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is a very recent trend where characters are being written for women. And this is partially because of the audience. The audience have now started supporting female actors. Right. We have our own fan following now. People want to see us on screen. Therefore, such roles are offered. And I do believe that the audience plays a huge role in things like this. It's like a supply and demand system. Where there's a demand, that will be supplied. As long as they support and make these films work, more will be made. So currently, I have Firangi coming out on the 24th, and there's a Punjabi film opposite Amy Virk that's also up for release. And the first film of next year is going to be a film called Punch Khab, which I mentioned is a female-centric film. Post that, we haven't yet made any announcements, which I think we're hoping to do by the end of December. And I'm just fingers crossed and hoping for the best. Hello, this is Monica Gill, and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.